A very good day to you out there, and welcome to another interesting episode of your enlightenment program, The Economy and Inside Agriculture, where we discuss sectoral contributions to national development. I am your host, Ile Emeje. Economic experts have asserted that innovations in engineering, particularly on mechanical engineering, is very critical to solving societal issues, especially on wealth creation and economic sustainability. Innovations in mechanical engineering is highly relevant to Nigeria's economy as it drives growth across key sectors like manufacturing, energy, and infrastructure by designing, developing, and maintaining machinery and systems, which creates jobs, fosters technological advancement, reduces import reliance, and enhances national industrialization. Mechanical engineers also contribute to environmental sustainability by mitigating emissions in the crucial oil and gas sector and by developing more efficient and cleaner energy systems. Reports had it that mechanical engineers design and construct essential infrastructure like buildings, bridges, water systems, and transportation networks, road like railways, airports, and improving quality of life and supporting economic activity. Also in agriculture, mechanical engineers design and fabricate equipment such as food and nut extractors to support the agricultural sector and improve food processing. While some development experts point to its impact on many economies, others are indifferent, saying innovation in Nigeria is yet to be fully maximized. And so today on the program, the head of Mechanical Engineering Department of the African University of Science and Technology, Dr. David Afolayan, is my guest, and he'll be joining us to discuss the topic after the promo. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Our guest, who is the head of mechanical engineering of the African University of Science and Technology, Dr. David Afolayan, is here, and he will be taking us on the major contributions of innovation engineering, especially that of mechanical engineering, to national development. Doctor, you are welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm also excited to be here today.
All right. I know that you're going to enlighten us on the contributions of mechanical engineering to the general economy. And we are going to start with this question. What is your assessment on the role of or the contributions of innovation engineering, including its attendant area like mechanical engineering, as tools to economic development of the global economy? Then we come to Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. I'm also glad to be here to speak to the audience, which is actually over there. So if you talk about innovation, we need to get it right first. Innovation is actually a process that gives rise to another process. And so it's a process of implementing idea, project, products, and processes in a way that creates value by attending to human needs, solving problems, and attaining goals. And so it has to create value by meeting the needs of the people and achieving certain objectives. And that's what makes it innovation. And so when these processes are actually followed, there is no way you will not have innovation. But if at any time these linkages are breached, it is either you have a partial innovation, if there's anything like that, or you don't have innovation at all. And so in our country, if the steps are duly followed, the word implementing, it has to be implemented. The ideas, we have it. The product, we have it. The service, we have it. But the question is, how do we implement them to solve problem, to create value? And that is what I think we need to do right, or we need to do better, to transit from where we are to solving problems that have to do with regional, national, regional, and even global needs. Okay,
can we say there's a difference between innovation engineering and mechanical engineering, as the case may be? Any slight difference?
Yeah, for me, apparently, I don't think there is a difference. Just like you've mentioned, it's one of the antecedents. I mean, it's one of the antecedents. But the question is this. Whether mechanical or agric engineering or civil engineering, the question is, how is this knowledge? Because when we say engineering, it's a creative application of science, mathematics, and empirical evidence, if I would say so. And so the way this knowledge is applied is what matters. So innovation, we talks about scientific, systematic application of engineering principles. To build technology, if I will keep it simple at that. So the question now will be, if we will say innovation engineering is somehow different from mechanical engineering, the problem will have been that the manner, the way in which this knowledge is applied makes the difference. And so, in my own take, if knowledge is applied creatively, systematically, to create a value in the context of mechanical engineering, then there is no difference between mechanical engineering and innovation and engineering. However, if the application of knowledge is not done well, like I earlier mentioned, then we will see a wider difference between the innovation and engineering and supposedly the mechanical engineering.
Okay, in Nigeria, can we summarily say or agree that whether innovation engineering or mechanical engineering have contributed immensely to the development of Nigeria's economy?
So I would say that Nigeria's mechanical engineering sector, to be honest with you, at the moment it still lacks in so many areas. And if we will say, of course, the picture is actually painting is that it looks as if mechanical engineering is different from innovation engineering. But in the real sense of it, it is not. However, the Nigerian mechanical engineering sector, as I earlier mentioned, is really lagging in so many areas. And the reasons are far-fetched. For me, I would say the bulk of the problem still lies with the academia and the industry.
I was going to come there.
I wouldn't want to be in haste to talk about that the problem should be put on the head of the government. But I will want to take side today and speak to what the academia and the industry can do to change the trend of the event.
Now, we are pointing the accusing finger on the academia, right? And African University of Science and Technology, where you work as the head of mechanical engineering, what are you doing to change the narrative?
Thank you so much. So, truly, the ball is in our court as academia. The reason why I'm not really directly pointing accusing finger on the academia, but I'm thinking that I'm part of the process, and that is something we are doing to change the trend at the African University of Science and Technology. As we all know, and as the public is aware, African University of Science and Technology will believe and held so firmly to what we call a project-based learning.
Project-based learning.
Project-based learning is also synonymous to some of the practices that is done, like in Lagos Business School, this executive way of learning. You know, this idea of giving the knowledge in written form to the students and allow them to have a full digestion of this knowledge before coming to class. And so it's not the usual, the teacher or the lecturer doing the whole talking and the student are listening, but the whole student also have contributions to make. And so it's more or less like an interactive discussion, because now the knowledge is being brought to the practice, and everybody can see the way it is. However, we have certain limitations in this country. I'm not saying we are getting to the 100%, but at the AUST, we begin to address this problem right there from the classroom.
Okay.
And how do we get to do this? What we do at AUST is this. Firstly, all our lecturers within my department, to be very specific, our lecturers have to teach with the use of PowerPoint presentation. That allows them to have a better way of communicating science, mathematics that forms into engineering in a better perspective. Also, we have our curriculum designed in such a way that allows teaching and also the practice. And so it's combined together as a complete lecture. When the teaching is done, the classwork is done, students are engaged in the activities of teaching, and not just the lecturer alone. And of course, they also relate with the lab technicians who take them through the practical section of what is done in the class.
Okay, can I be right to say that it is a kind of on-the-job training, skills development training kind of practice? Yeah,
it's on the job. You don't have to wait for the students to graduate before they get to do these things. It's on the job and it's right there. And I'm saying that even though you are not giving the student all that they know, but expose them to the basic, to the practice, allow them to use the tools. One of the 200 level courses that I taught, even though we may not have all that we need, but let the student knows the tools. This is how you put it to use. This is how you hold it for a start. And as they get to 300 level, they will advance in it. 400 level, they build up on it. And as they keep building up on it, of course, in that 400 level, they will have to go for internship. And we will encourage them to ensure that where they will go for the internship is in line with, you know, is such a place that will also further build up on some of the things that we have taught them in the class and also they have experienced in the lab.
There are some institutions, you know, that mechanical engineers are specially trained from specialized institutions of learning. But there are instances where roadside mechanics perform creditably than some who present themselves as mechanical engineers. Is it a case of quacks or lack of knowledge or skills? Because I don't think there is any university in Nigeria that is not training students, trying to roll out students of engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and the rest of them to the labor market. But you will also agree with me that there are some graduates of engineering, whether mechanical, electrical, or innovation engineer, as the case may be, that cannot even work on a particular maybe machine or even on a car, yet they are mechanical engineers. So what's the problem?
Yeah, for me, I would say, first of all, it's a problem of the individual students.
You think?
Yes, I was educated, my first degree was from University of Abuja.
Okay.
Of course, much of what I can learn from the class, I know that is not sufficient for me to emerge and to be successful. And so I didn't just stay with what I was taught in the classroom. I strive harder to gain knowledge from wherever I can get it.
Okay.
The first thing you need to do is this. Who do you want to become as a student? I always tell my students there are 3 categories of persons on this planet. Take for example, that somebody would design the car. There will be people who will drive the car. Some will repair the car, and another person will open the gate for the car to come in. And I tell my student, you choose which of these you want to belong. Now, the question is this, and I will quite agree with you, that some of the roadside mechanics are better than not all of our students, but some of our students. For those that they are better than, I always tell them, the problem is, don't be comfortable with the much of what we are giving you. Look at the jet age. Our students today, just a tap on their phone, you have access to all the questions they want to ask. Sometimes I will ask them questions in the class, and they will be looking at me, they can't answer, and I will tell them, you have a Google. Go online, and you tell me the answer. I don't expect you to just keep mute. I said during my own time, even when you ask questions, we have a textbook under our leg. As the teacher asks for questions, we could teach out that textbook because we want to engage in the class activities. And so, there is a little that the university, that the lecturer can do. Our student needs to strive harder. Go for the knowledge. When you see a roadside mechanic that is doing better than you do, I always tell them, if you don't get a place of internship, I will support you to go and do your internship with that roadside mechanic along the roadside. If you think he knows better than you do, learn. However, even though they know the answer more than our student, but our student can still communicate the science to the roadside mechanic. And so it is 50-50. It is give and take. If our students learn the hands-on, they can also help the roadside mechanic to understand some of the science that helps him to do his own job better than the way the student met him.
Now we are talking about a kind of on-the-job training, which is aimed at acquiring skills alongside knowledge. There are some universities in Nigeria who they don't have enough equipment, or the needed equipment for the course they enroll students for, like in engineering and other areas. What can you say to that? Because many may disagree with the school of thought that many economic problems we have in Nigeria or in the society is due to the fact that some universities are established for the purpose of either making profit other than impacting the needed skills in these students. How do you agree or disagree with it?
I quite agree with you. That is completely obvious. The state of our university, we know it's not well funded. We know we don't have all that we need to expose our students to the practice. But just like I've mentioned earlier, and that's what the university is doing, we ensure that we have the basic. When you have the basic, and the student is ready not to sit at that level, he goes for the knowledge. He will gradually build up to at least something 40%, 50%. Now, at AUST, this is what we do. And I also want to mention that it's also a function of the administrator. As the head of the department of the mechanical engineering engineering at AUST, I always tell my students, I will get your hands dirty before you will graduate. The reason is because I am aware of our society. I know that there is a lot of problem begging for solution, and our students have to solve them. I will tell them in the class, look, the problem that I solved are now archaic. It's no longer relevant. You have to look forward to solving a new problem. And so when we give them the basic, that's what I will always encourage every university to do. Give the basic. If the students are passionate for learning, they will go for the knowledge. Now, down to the state as a country, I want parents to also know that they have a role. Encourage your kids. The university is doing the much of what they can do with the resources that they have. I quite agree with you that are mismanagement of funds. I quite agree with you that is corruption. I quite agree with you that we are limited by the government expenses. I quite agree with you by so many things. But the question is, we can't continue to dwell on our problem. We must strive for a solution. And what is the solution? Get the basic. Let the student know that this is the basic. And when they understand the basic, ensure that they have their internship done. We have internship 1, 2, and 3. I always tell my students, make sure you do your internship 1, your internship 2, and internship 3. When I was in the university, of course, my university also doesn't have everything. But I told myself at that time, I have 1 year, 3 months internship 1 and 2, and 6 months internship 3. I spoke to myself and I said, look, even if you don't have all that you need in the university, your 1 year internship, it is to acquire knowledge. And I strive for knowledge. I did my internship in 2011. And most of what I learned then, how to produce polyurethane foams, if you ask me today, I will still tell you. Because I wasn't playing trance when I was doing my internship. Most of our students today, they will go to work to their internship on Monday. They don't go throughout the whole week. Ask me, how do they want to learn? But in our own case, I will have to go, resume even before most of the staff, and close after so many of them. I work as an assistant manager during my internship because they can see me. They know I am ready to work. And I was given higher commitment, which I delivered on the job. And so today, I will tell you many things that I can do. Not because I learned all of them from the classroom, but the university gave me the basic. I was passionate for knowledge. I know I am in an environment that has many competitors. I don't want to be an underdog.
Okay.
And so I strive for knowledge until today, even with my PhD. I'm still striving for knowledge. And that is what I will encourage that our students do. That's what I will encourage that the parents do to encourage their students, and that the university should provide, even if it is the minimum basic, for the student to see, to use, and be encouraged to strive to gain that which is not available within the context of the university.
And today, there are concerns raised by many people, especially developers, who have alluded that most people reading engineering courses, especially mechanical engineering, are not ready to be involved or to put themselves in the job. For example, while you were explaining, you said that you train the students to ensure that they will dip their hands in the grease. You should know that you are going to put your hands in dirt, grease, oil, and because you are a mechanical engineer by training and by discipline. But you find out that most engineers today, they prefer to wear suit and stay in the office while they have a lot of job to do on the field. What can you say to that?
Is it the simple truth is this? Today we have, and I must say, an apologies to parents.
Yeah.
You see, students today, or children, when they are growing up, they consider kind of, like my 2 kids. One of them said, oh, I want to be an engineer. And the other was, I want to be a firefighter. But I keep asking myself, is it because they think their father is an engineer, or that is their passion? Now the question is, most of the students, they will want to do engineering. They don't even know what they call engineering.
Oh, the parents will force them.
They don't even know. And many of them want to do something else. The parents say, no, I want to be a mother of an engineer. And so both of them don't even know the commitment. They don't know the challenge. And so they're not even ready for it. And so somebody who has an engineer wants to keep his hand clean. He seems not to know what engineering is all about. Because for you to be an engineer, you have to build, you have to create, you have to stood low, you have to lie down, you have to do everything possible to make sure that you create value. You have to work extra hour when every other person is sleeping. You have to do the job. You know what is what your commitment. Look at the medical doctors. They are on special service. That's what their job demands. Engineers also needs to know that is what we need to do. Sometimes you see a product in the market, you wouldn't know. We have had 1 month, 2 months sleepless night to build that. If you can't do that, you can't get the product out. And when the people saw the product, they are happy. We got a solution, but they wouldn't know. And so engineers and our children, they need to know. You have to get your hands dirty. This is what is required. And so one of the things that I want to do at AUST, which we have started doing, is to educate our students. This is what is required. This is what you have to do. And that the world is begging for solution. And you have to give them what they need. And so at the AUST, this is what we are doing critically. For me, in my own department, I allow our students to go to the first year. Go to the first year, enjoy yourself, have a nice time. But when they get into the department, internal level, I will tell them, look, this is what it is. And I will tell them, it's not about begging you, it's not about pampering you.
No.
If you can do it, stay here. If you can't do it, come on.
Find a way out.
Find a way out. Because I will tell my students, even other students in civil and electrical, I will say, a mechanical engineering student, how will get your hands dirty before you leave this place? Because Even if 10 years to come, people say you were HOD in this university, I can tell them, these are my students. I have done the job well. These are people that I can sell out. These are people that I can say, come and see the world.
Yeah.
Because, not because I have all when I was in school, but I strive for knowledge. And I always tell people, I don't want to be second to another. Anything that I'm doing, I want to be the best. If I can't be the best, I keep striving until I be the best. And when I be the best, I keep doing more to remain as the best. And so a student must be. And that is just what it is. So it's not about whether I like it or not. That is what is required.
Okay.
We must change the trend.
We must change.
The quack student, engineering student, things have to change. It can't continue this way. And those that will change it, the administrators. Those that will change it are the parents. Those that will change it, and most critically, the students. They need to be told this is what is required. And they have to pay the price to bring solution to the people. I think if that is all gets into their mind, that the world is asking for a solution, and they depend on that, they will go to an extra mile to get things done. And I think that's what I want to say at this moment.
I love this passion, trying the best, to be the best, to ensure that you provide the needed services, to be the best. I love the passion.
And stop complaining.
And stop
blaming people.
Okay. And again, for parents, who does that? Maybe sending their students, like you use an example of a woman that says, I want my son to be, or I want to be the mother of an engineer. Is it wrong also to encourage your child to read a particular course, or that is where guidance and counseling comes in? Yeah,
there's nothing bad about it. But I always tell people, parents study, even if you want a son or a daughter to be an engineer, you need to, it's not something that you need to tell them when they are looking for admission. Okay. You have to keep singing it to them. And tell them and say, look, and they say, oh, mommy want me to be an engineer. I would like to be an engineer. My mommy will say, you have to pass your mathematics, you have to do well. Yeah. Like one of my kids, my second kids, he's very good in talking, but when it comes to writing, he said, I don't want to write. And the teacher said, oh, who do you want to become? He said, I want to be an engineer. Oh, but an engineer have to write. And so I have to sing it. He's just 5 years old. I have to sing it to his head. You have to write. If you want to be an engineer, you have to know mathematics. And so before you tell your child, I want to be an engineer, check his academic progression. How well is he doing in mathematics? If your son or your daughter is struggling with mathematics, he's going to have a problem coming to do engineering. Yeah. If your son or your daughter is struggling with his physics, he may have a little problem. But if you want him to pursue that and he is ready, the child must be ready to go on his feet, to go on his feet and work extra hour to catch up with students who have a solid foundation in those courses. But I will still tell you, you may still have to struggle. In my own case, I never did further maths before I started engineering.
I love maths.
However, I will not accept a defeat. I never did technical drawing before I started engineering. But they told me, you have to do this course. I never accept defeat. If it would take me to beg my colleagues to teach me, I will do that. But today, I wrote those courses, I passed. And as I speak to you, I'm a registered engineer, a current certified engineer. You keep striving to get what you want when you know what is required. And you have made up your mind to get to the top, no matter what.
Early counseling to choosing a career or a discipline is very, very necessary, especially when it comes to specialized disciplines or courses like engineering, even medicine, nursing, and the rest of them. Even media. As a media person, I will tell you that early counseling also will help us to deliver according to our mandate. That's a very good one. In recent time, some technology experts have identified lack of synergy between the academia, industry players, and government as main reason while engineering in Nigeria is yet to be fully maximized. What measures do you think that can be put in place to addressing this anomaly so that Nigeria can attain its feet according to the global?
Thank you so much for this kind of question. These are some of the questions that I've been talking about. We talk about government, we talk about industry, and we talk about the academia. That is a three measures. That is a three triple Alice measures. But something is missing.
What is it?
Community.
community.
Many a times the government, the industry, and the academia meet. They don't seem to know the need of the people.
You think so?
Yeah. They don't seem to know the need of the people. And so the community is missing. That's one of the things that, first of all, and so in my own team, I will introduce the fourth helix, which is the community, the
Community.
people. The people have a role. And that's why we talk about market feasibility study. Who do you meet? The people.
The people.
And so we need to engraft that into the next. That's number one. Number two, and I also say, step back to the academia.
Okay.
Now, in our own economic setting, for example, Nigeria, the solution will be that, first of all, the question has been, the debate has been over the years is that the industry, the academia, or the government, who should take the first step? Who should take the move?
Who should?
In my own case, the academia. I'm not just saying it, but I've tried each of the three. What I've found so easy to do is the academia taking the lead. And I have been able to do it. I'm also a researcher.
Yeah.
And as I speak with you, at the UST, we have up to in mechanical engineering law, we have the minimum of 2 industries that we are collaborating with in this country. Let me just keep the name mute. Now, how do we get to involve them? We have to be serious with what we are doing. We have to go online. When we publish a paper, this is what we are doing, we have to put it where they can read it. The university, the academia need to do that more. And that's one of the things that our president at the USC is doing. He's always telling us how every department must have a social media handle. You are there in the LinkedIn, you are there on Facebook. People need to know what they are doing. If the industry know what the academia is doing, they will come without invitation.
Think so?
I tell you, yes. Recently, mechanical engineering department, we organized a training. I'm a mineral processing expert. I'm a specialized mineral processor. That's my area of specialization. What we did was that we organized a training for the industry people. And we didn't just do the training only ourselves. One of the speakers, it's a 4-day training. One of the speaker is a director from the industry. We invited him. Before his invitation, he listened to us the first day, the second day, academia speaking. And when he hears what we are doing at AUST, he drove down to AUST to come and speak the third day. And when we have a conversation, he agreed that truly the academia must work with the industry. I tell you, that training was funded by the industry. They were glad to fund it because they can see what we are doing. The second industry we are working with, we told them, we don't just speak. I told them that at AUST, we design equipment. In this year alone, mechanical engineering department has patented 3 equipment, and not just patenting it, we fabricated it. They are in our lab. If they want to see it, they can come. 3 equipment in 1 year, and we have patented all of them. And that project was actually facilitated. I led the project. And how do we get that done? Of course, because we have something on grant to show. We actually got a grant, a 2-year grant, worth $80,000. And with that grant, we're able to design also what can be catchy for local development. And so academia have to do what is catchy for local development. Something that is Nigeria adaptive. Something that can be translated into innovation that can be useful to our people. When that is done, industry will come. And so when the industry comes, the money, the resources is available. All we need to do is industry and academia march to the government. They will listen to you. But if academia goes alone to the government, they will listen. If the industry alone goes to the government, they will listen. But when the industry and the academia goes together to meet the government, they will listen. And I tell you, they have been listening because we have something to show. It's not just about empty word. Come and see. It's not about pictures. Come and see. It's not about just a stagnant equipment. These are equipment that we put to use. We show them the product that is produced from using that equipment. That is what academia need to do. And the end of stagnant equipment has to be terminated. We have this equipment. The question is, the equipment will be as clean as anything. It is obvious that you are not using it. And so we need to use the little that we have. Get a product. Get a process. That is convincing. And when you do that, the industry will be glad to support you. 2 months ago, there was one of the industry who say, these are equipment I just mentioned to you that we have fabricated. The industry was asking, how soon can you fabricate this equipment? because we have our resources to support it. Industry is asking us, fast track it, because we have done one. We want to still do two additional one. And so it's not about deceiving them. It's not about having to talk the whole grammar. We have something to show.
All right.
And when you have something to show, the industry will support you.
And now
government will listen.
we're talking about the community, which is also important, right?
Yep.
And getting to know what the people or the community needs requires research.
Yep.
What is your research fit in this environment where research seems to be lagging behind or going down the lane?
Yeah, thank you so much.
As you're answering also that, because of our time, you tell us the requirements for admission. For example, I want to go and apply for a PhD course. What does it take someone to apply for such, even undergraduate courses in mechanical engineering?
Yeah, thank you so much. So just like I've told you, when you know the problem, you will do the research right.
But so research seems to be going down the
that's why I said when you know the problem, you will do the research right.
Okay.
My first study of the assessment of community involvement in Energios started in 2017 as a PhD student. I carried out a survey assessing the impact of AUST research on local economic development, and I took a case study of Galadima village. Galadima village is the next village to AUST.
Yeah, I know Galadima.
And when I did my study, I realized something very strategic and convincing. I observed that the potential impact of our research doesn't commensurate with the actual impact. That is potential and that is actual. How well your potential impact influences the life of the people. How is it able to solve their water problem? How is it able to solve their food spoilage problem?
So to say.
How is it able to provide the basic amenity? And when I finished the study, I presented it to the UST. And they said, wow, this is an excellent result. I actually presented these results somewhere in a LATEC, in a very international conference. Now, a follow-up to that study was also another survey to know the mind of the people. And the question is this: the people will tell you their problem, and then you need to align your research to meeting those needs. That is the way out. At the AUST, for you to get admitted, it's just the same as any other university.
Okay.
However, we don't do admission by our own strength. Will depend on the standard provided by the National University Commission.
And you see.
Yes, 5 O-levels including English, mathematics, physics, chemistry for engineering, and any of biology. It could be further mathematics or technical drawing. You will need to have that, including JAMB, exam passed. With the subject combination for engineering, it has to be mathematics, physics, and chemistry. If that is done, of course, including English, which is compulsory. When you have the minimum cutoff mark stipulated by the NUC, you are welcome to AUST. And for students who are excellent, who have good results, who have a good JAMB score, AUST provides them 50% scholarship, 75%, and 100% scholarship as the management actually decide to have it. Now, for the masters and the PhD, recently AUST have been known to you must have a second class upper. But in recent time, to give chances to more Nigerians who wants to pursue their career, AUST is now considering a second class, lower class, with students who probably have some deficiency. They can also do a PGDE, or maybe you have a 5 years working experience. You are welcome to do masters and PhD at AUST. And I'm sure that based on the statistics that we have of some of our alumni, AUST alumni are doing well. And I'm glad to also see that I'm also a master's and PhD alumni of AUST. I did my master's and my PhD at AUST. And I'm glad to say I'm an alumni of AUST, and we're doing everything possible to contribute to, have ourselves into the mind of the undergraduate students so that they can also go out there and solve problems just as we're doing.
We're also optimistic that some of us that want to come for the PhD
you're welcome.
Will be given, not just coming, but will be given a discount, just like you mentioned. I'm going to take you by your word, 50%.
Don't take me by my word, probably, but that is what it is. And I'm very sure our president is cheerful to have students on campus. He's willing to help students. He's aware of the economic situation. All you need to do is, let the university knows your challenge. I believe that is something that you do to help.
All right. Yeah. Well, in whatever you do, you must strive to be the best. You must strive to give the best so that we have our mandates fulfilled and we have a better economy in Nigeria. That is the thought and the opinion of my guest. And that is the size of our package on today's edition of the program. The guest I've been speaking with is the head of department, Mechanical Engineering Department of the African University of Science and Technology, AUST, here in Abuja. My guest is Dr. David Afolayan. Doctor, I want to thank you sincerely for honoring our invitation to be on the program today.
Thank you so much. I'm very glad to.
All right. And to you out there, esteemed audience, we want to thank you for spending part of your time with us today on the program. I am Ile Emeje.
Thank you.